I am now totally convinced of the fact that at some point in the future the locals will murder me. Indeed, I don't think the locals take very kindly to schizophrenic aliens walking around, smiling to themselves and talking to themselves. I've noticed that people look very uncomfortable with my presence in this town, and they look very scared when they walk past me. So it's really quite interesting. Indeed, I am a receiver for cosmic intelligence, and I have been programmed both as a super spy, a schizophrenic super spy by British intelligence, and as a schizophrenic alien spy by Russian intelligence. It's very interesting. I've basically escaped from two mind control experiments. Indeed, I escaped from the Grenville Lodge mind control experiment in March 2013 and ran away to Eastern Europe, where I was drafted into a Russian mind controlled experiment, which I then sort of managed to get away from, and went back to the United Kingdom and ended up in another British mind controlled experiment, coordinated by various neo Nazi satanic networks operating as conduits for the Hellfire Clubs of Grenville Lodge. Indeed, the majority of my programmers in the years 2015 to, I believe it was 2019, the majority of my programmers during these years were programmers from various neo-Nazi satanic cults that British intelligence have set up specifically for the mind control agenda. Indeed, one of the networks that was involved in my programming was the National Anarchist Movement, who are themselves a process church of the final judgment style satanic devil worshipping network, and are basically the modern version of the Ahnenerbe. Indeed, they are conducting certain research for British intelligence and the Quattro Coronati Lodge, the research lodge of the British intelligence services. Indeed, although the National Anarchist Movement is primarily a British intelligence front, it is also coordinated by the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst via various Neo-Templar organizations and through the intelligence branches of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst mafia syndicate. Indeed, the National Anarchist Movement are heavily involved in the production and distribution of illicit pornography and snuff movies also, which these these products collect a rather large sum on the black market. Indeed, this seems to be a common occurrence with these neo-Nazi satanic covens. They are basically involved in the darkest sides of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst and British intelligence black market for certain products, basically, such as illicit pornography and snuff films, and also are engaged in ritual abuse and mind control experimentation. Indeed, most of the satanic networks are simply covers for mind control experimentation. Indeed, this programming that I experienced by the neo-Nazi satanic covens connected to British intelligence continued from, I believe it was late 2014 actually, until 2019. And at the beginning of 2020, I began to break out of this Nazi fetishist mind control programming, at which point I returned to the Russian mind control program with various Russian neuroscientists and parapsychologists directing my life, basically, at that point as a programmed asset of the Russian intelligence services. So it's all interesting the differences between the Gladio 2 neo-Nazi satanic coven British intelligence programming and the Russian parapsychological mind control programming, which was far more cosmicist. Indeed, the Russian intelligence services seem to be attempting as much as possible to tap into the cosmic intelligence connections of the schizophrenic mind. However, they do seem to be going about it the wrong way. Instead of recruiting the schizophrenics into decent conditions and utilizing their intelligence potential, they are instead conducting experiments on schizophrenics. Indeed, it's all very interesting to consider the activities of mind control experimentation, especially here in the United Kingdom, with there being a proliferation of Operation Gladio 2 neo-Nazi mind control programming experiments going on. I believe this is part of the endgame agenda, whereby a neo-fascist state structure is to be developed. However, it will be a neo-fascist state structure tinged with criminalism, because the British intelligence services and the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst would not want to lose their profits. Indeed, the whole process is basically the Illuminati and Masonic theory of ordo ab chaos, order out of chaos. Indeed, the British aristocracy would do anything to maintain their power, as would the industrialists and the bankers connected to the British aristocracy, and therefore they aligned themselves with the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst criminal cartel specifically to maintain power in an age where it's becoming more difficult for minority population representatives, i.e. the 1% theory that there is a small percentage of people running the country. It's becoming more difficult for this small percentage running the country to maintain absolute power over their subjects. And therefore, a lot of the mind control experimentation had as its goal the absolute control of the mind of the populace. And basically, this began with experimentation on schizophrenics, though there are also other reasons, because the intelligence services knew that the schizophrenics had intelligence potential and attempted to create schizophrenic super spies. However, these schizophrenic super spies proved to be too difficult for the British intelligence services to control. Indeed, the British intelligence programmed assets, i.e. these test subjects, the schizophrenic super spies, began to turn on their handlers, as is the nature of the schizophrenic. The schizophrenics are naturally anarchistic people, do not believe in masters, basically. And the schizophrenic super spies started to turn on their handlers, and therefore much of the super spy mind control programming operations were shut down. However, several have continued, such as the one that I was drafted into, Project Aniseed. And it's interesting, really, to consider the fact that the British intelligence services were experimenting with the creation of schizophrenic super spies, and that the schizophrenic super spies began to outsmart their intelligence handlers. Indeed, as I've stated, I believe that the Freemasonic networks running that interconnect with British intelligence are terrified of the paranoid schizophrenic mind. Indeed, it seems that the Nazis during the Second World War had already constructed brain-computer interfaces, and indeed brain-computer interfaces are now in operation by British intelligence, and basically through remote neural monitoring and the harnessing of targets at remote locations brainwaves, the neuroscientists of British intelligence can now map the mind of a targeted individual. And basically, this data is transferred onto a computer system and therefore can be analyzed by networks of neuroscientists and psychiatrists coordinating operations against targeted individuals, tar- targeted individuals being targeted by the British intelligence services. So we are entering a phase of psycho-civilization, as coined by Jose Delgado, the infamous microchip pioneer. Indeed, in my case, this theory of psycho-civilization has taken the form of menticide. Indeed, the intelligence services of the United Kingdom have basically destroyed my mind. They have fractured my mind and split my mind, created alters within my mind, and programmed me in several different manners. The most notorious one being the neo-Nazi mind control programming that I underwent as part of the Operation Gladio 2 program being rolled out by the British intelligence services. Indeed, they have committed menticide on my mind. However, I am attempting to remain as strong as possible, and right now, I have never enjoyed life more than I do now. Indeed, I love my life, and I love all my mad friends, although I do worry about certain friends of mine because I believe that they are undergoing British intelligence programming, and I'm considering that much of this sudden British intelligence programming of my friends is due to their proximity to me. And therefore, British intelligence are attempting to carry out a project surrounding me, utilizing neo-Nazi satanic covens operating as conduits for the Hellfire Club networks of Grenville Lodge number 1787 that began my programming in 2012. Indeed, the Russian neuroscientists and parapsychologists have taken a very different approach with me, programming me with cosmicist programming mechanisms. And indeed, they don't seem to have been quite as destructive with my mind in terms of menticide as the British intelligence mind control programmers. In fact, I have figured that I was being used in some sort of long-range Russian endgame scenario regarding last-ditch operations in view of the encirclement of the Russian Federation by the NATO countries. But I haven't quite come to an organized theory on exactly what is going on. I am half expecting somebody to show up in the coming weeks, most probably from British intelligence, who is going to trick me and state that he has information regarding my programming and the perpetrators and exactly what is going on. And he'll probably show me some documents and expect me to start behaving in a certain way whereby I would cause harm to one of the perpetrators. Indeed, I am aware of the fact that a situation like this may arise and that I would then my activities would then be used to patsy me. Or British intelligence may take a different approach, especially with Blaise Metrovelli now locking her sights on me, what with my exposures of her, the Director General of MI6. Indeed, I'm pretty sure I've met her at some point. I recognize her. Indeed, I'm pretty sure that Blaise Metrovelli is now locked in on me, and I believe she may attempt to incite the population of this town, i.e. the locals, to murder me, under the pretext of me being some sort of deep penetration Russian agent or something. So I guess I'm in a rather strange situation. This is especially strange for me these days, being post-programming. And I look back on my life during my 20s and early 30s, just wondering what on earth was going on. The amount of layers of programming that I underwent. And I was going off in all sorts of different directions and speaking many contradictory viewpoints. And this basically proves that there are the fingerprints of the intelligence services all over my life. Indeed, it's interesting to consider why I'm still alive. It seems that the legacy of the mind control programming is enduring, and the British intelligence services are merely keeping me alive at the moment to study me, to study the effects of schizophrenic super spy programming gone wrong, basically, because I'm pretty sure that I am an experimental reject of the British intelligence services. And also my diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia and accompanied public lunacy means that members of the public will never actually listen to what I have to say, which allows the British intelligence services plausible deniability. Indeed, the psychiatric services have basically spent the last 9 years telling me that everything I think and say is delusion. But this is proof of the role of the psychiatric services as a branch of the intelligence services. Indeed, the psychiatric services of the United Kingdom are merely a branch of the British intelligence services. And a lot of the function of the psychiatric services of the United Kingdom is as a landfill, basically, for programmed assets of British intelligence who have broken out of the programming or figured out that something is not quite right with British intelligence. Indeed, the psychiatric services merely serve as a place to dispose of troublesome programmed assets by the British intelligence services. Indeed, I believe I have met several programmed British intelligence assets while in the psychiatric system that have been placed in the psychiatric restraints by the British intelligence services, because the British intelligence services are beginning to worry about what these programmed assets may reveal about the sinister nature behind the British intelligence services, which are Nazi fetishist networks and are so penetrated by the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst that there is basically a Nazi fifth column in the United Kingdom. But it's not Nazism as you would think it is. It's not Nazism in terms of Hitler and the Third Reich. This is a criminal cartel, basically. They have a new agenda now. Their agenda is no longer the totalitarian state structure as revealed by the Nazi regime. Their agenda is very different now. They have modified their agenda to suit the modern world and are basically constructing a structure of government that would suit the criminalism of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst cartel, which will involve mass surveillance, but it will be selective mass surveillance. The kind of people that will be undergoing mass surveillance will be schizophrenics, homeless, drug addicts, etc. Indeed, the criminal syndicates run by the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst entities will be basically immune from the expansion of the surveillance state. And all of this is simply so that the British aristocracy, the British bankers, and the British industrialists can maintain their power in a time where segments of the population are beginning to wake up to the fact that there is a network of terrible people coordinating our lives, basically as a simulated reality. So it's all quite interesting to consider. I've realized I say that quite a lot in these videos. It's all quite interesting to consider, but it is very interesting. It's all very interesting to me, and I intend to continue with these hypotheses that I'm churning out for as long as possible. Indeed, I'm going to leave it there. This is a mind-controlled British and Russian intelligence asset gone rogue, speaking. Indeed, a schizophrenic super spy / schizophrenic alien. Indeed, I'm going to leave it there now.